Alright, Technical Circular 5588-1 Rail Handbook for Air Brake and Train Handling Rules, March 2008, Distribution Restriction approved for public release, distribution unlimited, Headquarters Department of the Army. Alright, Chapter 3. Rules for train equipment and skirmish. Rule 1, Rule 3.1. Angle cocks must never be left in partially open or closed position when coupling or recoupling cars on a locomotive. Make the 20 psi pipe reduction signal one sound. A signal with one sound of the horn to communicate with the radio brake with the valve exhaust with the C's to gradually open the angle cock with a fully open position. When cutting in the air with the brake pipe charge, will open the angle cock slowly to prevent the emergency brake application. Rule 3.2. Air hose height. The air hoses are coupled to ensure the brake pipe hose support is adjusted so that the glad hands are 4 to 5 inches above the top of the rail. Rule 3.3. Securement and the equipment against undesired movement. The crew members are responsible for securing the standing of the equipment with the handbrakes to prevent the undesired movement. The air brake system must be not dependent upon the preventing the undesired development. Determine the number of the handbrakes to be applied depends on the grade adhesion, number of loaded empty cars, weather condition, wind, and temperature. When setting out with the cars of grade with a slack bunch and apply with the handbrakes on the low end of the cut of the cars. When setting out with the cars of the grade with a slack stretch, apply the handbrakes on the high end of the cut cars. All retaining valves must be exhaust position. Steps to secure equipment. Stop the car stretch and bunch the slack as it applies. Ensure all the movement has stopped and request a 3-step protection. Set hand brakes in accordance with Rule 3.3b. Test brakes relating to the independent automatic air brakes. If movement occurs, repeat all the steps. 1. Securing equipment when the detaching locomotives when any of the part of the train is left standing and the train brake. Inspection is not required. Do not depend on the air brake system with secure the cars when the detaching locomotives or cars. Secure the equipment against undesired movement as outlined above. The release air brakes to ensure the handbrakes will prevent. Make a 20 psi brake pipe reduction. Close the angle cock on the rear locomotive. Last car to be detached for the portion left standing. Leave the angle cock open on portion left standing. Always allow brakes on any standing portion to apply emergency when available using end of the train telemetry device. Make sure that the brake pipe pressure drops to 0 psi. Do not bottle air. Maintain air pressure and brake pipe with the locomotive detached from the yard. Air is uncoupled after the brake pipe is complete with exhaust. Angle cock with the standing position of the train may be closed to allow the locomotive to switch to the cars at the opposite ends. Securing unattended train portion of the train with the locomotive attached. Secure the train of the portion of the train with the locomotive consist attached. Perform the steps below. Make a 20 psi brake pipe reduction. Secure the equipment against the undesired movement as outlined. Release the air brakes to ensure handbrakes prevent movement. Secure the locomotives outlined above. Handbrake matrix. Cars following the minimum number of the fully applied handbrakes and blocking and apply to the whole of the car's grade in level. Alright, level 1, 1% empty cars, 2% loaded cars. 5%, half a percent of the grade is 7% cars, 14% loaded. 1% grade, 15% cars empty, 29% loaded. 1.5% and 23% cars empty, 23% cars empty, 45% loaded. 2.0 grade, 30% of the cars, 60% cars loaded. 2.5, 38% of the cars empty, 75% of the cars loaded. 3%, 45% of the cars empty, 90% of the cars loaded. 3.5%, 53% of the cars empty, 100% of the cars loaded. 4% and over, 100% of the cars empties and 100% of the cars loaded. Alright, 2. The locomotive when grade is over 1.5%. You must apply all locomotive handbrakes. In addition, with the wheels must be securely blocked. Level 0.2%. Once every 5 locomotives. Minimum hand number of handbrakes. 5 once every 5 locomotives. 2.2%. 0.5%. 1 every 4 locomotives, 0.5% to 1%, 1 every 3 locomotives, 1 over 1% to 1.5% over once every 2 locomotives, over 1.5% all locomotives. Chapter 4: Rules and Train Operations.